Are you struggling with your finances, or you are going through life without savings and you are just one emergency away from bankruptcy? In this video, I talk about some practical money tips that can help you change your financial habits and help you to reach financial independence and eventually financial freedom. Tip number one is to track your spending and live within your means. When it comes to your spending, you need to have a budget in place. We have spoken about the budgeting in different videos. So you have your budget in place and you allocate funds to the different items that are in your budget according to the different money pots that you have, and you need to make sure that you are living within your means. If your income is 18,000, your budget should not be beyond that 18,000. It should be within that. And within that is also where you should have money going to your savings and investments, not only to your needs and wants. And for you to track your spending, you need to have some sort of a tool that you are using. You can either use a normal notebook to track your spending, where you physically write in your income and expenditure and you are able to review as you go through the month how you are performing, or you can use Excel or some sort of spreadsheet that then you have automated on your computer and you easily track your expenditure, or you can use spending tracker apps. Depending on what you have in your area or what you prefer, then you track your finances. And living below our means is very important. It does not mean if you earn a certain amount, all of it should be spent on wants, just needs and wants. So you need to allocate to the different areas so that you have a balanced budget. And if you have any underspending, you must have a plan for it. And if you have overspending, which is unfortunate, you also need to come up with a plan on how you can top up to fix that. Tip number two is to automate your savings. Very important, not only your savings but also your investments. So make sure that you have automated that money automatically goes to your transaction, from your transactional account to your savings and also to your investments. Whether you are having a 32 days account, whether you're having a 7-day call account, or you are having any sort of money market account, or whatever account that you have, automate so that when you get paid, that money goes without your physical involvement. It goes where it needs to go. And that goes also the same with your investments. With savings, you can start as small as possible. If you don't earn much, you don't have to worry about putting away big amounts of money, but you can put away money proportional to your income. So if your income is 4,000, you put away what is proportional to that. If your income is 30,000, you put away what is proportional to that income. So regardless of our income, even as little as $100 to put away for savings, it's good enough if that is what your budget and what your income can allow. Tip number three is cut your subscriptions. With this one, sometimes we have unnecessary subscriptions. So you need to review what subscriptions you have, be it for the gym, be it for apps, be it for sports or gaming or for streaming platforms. Look at what you really use, and whatever you are not using frequently or you are not using enough or maybe not even at all, either cut on that or completely remove and get rid of those subscriptions, because those things can easily stack up. And under this one, you can also share your subscriptions with friends and family. Maybe in a circle of friends or a circle of family members, one person pays for this subscription, another person pays for another one, and they are able to add the rest of the people in the group on the same subscription, so that in the end you don't duplicate where you have 5 different things as an individual, but maybe you only pay for 2 and then the other person pays for another 2 and then you share amongst yourselves. Tip number 4 is to reduce utility bills. And when it comes to reducing utility bills, we are looking at our water and we are also looking at our electricity. So when it comes to water, don't leave your taps running. If you are brushing your teeth, do not leave the tap running. And when it comes to electricity, switch off the plugs, remove devices that are not charging, and make sure that you are using energy saving or energy efficient bulbs in your home. And with your geyser, you can also install a geyser timer that will then be able to warm your water at certain periods of time where you need the warm water. Then it doesn't work throughout the 24 hours. So those are just some of the tips to make sure that we are reducing our bills as much as possible. Tip number 5 is to negotiate your bills. Where possible, get in touch with your provider. Maybe it's your phone or it's your TV or whatever subscription service that you have, even your gym. Try to negotiate so that you have reduced rates. And this also goes for our insurance. Every year, try to get a reduced rate from the insurance provider for whatever you have insured. Sometimes we will not get something because we didn't ask. So ask, see if they are able to, maybe out of loyalty, being a loyal client for a while, then they give you a reduced rate. Tip number 6 is to shop smart. And when it comes to shopping smart, one of the things that I personally do, I make sure that I know exactly which shops, for example, that I am going to when I go in a mall. So if I'm only needing something in shop number 1 or shop X, I only go to that shop. I don't go around to the rest of the shops in the mall and then get ideas of things that I didn't plan for. And the other one is to make sure that you don't go grocery shopping hungry. And regardless of whatever shopping you are going to do, make sure you have a shopping list. It's very important because it keeps you on track of what exactly you came to do in the mall, and not for you to end up spending more money than you were supposed to or than you have planned because you don't have a list of what are you looking for. And any stores that you frequently buy from, if they offer rewards cards or coupons or any sort of rewards, make use of them. Sometimes you save a lot, sometimes you get discounts, sometimes you get free products. So if there are such cards or at shops that you frequently shop, make use of them. They come in handy, and there are those that give you a discount when there's a sale. So it's like on top of the sale, you also get a discount. So those are some of the ways that you can actually shop smart. Another important tip when it comes to shopping smart is to buy generic products instead of brands. When you go to the pharmacy looking for cough medicine, go for the generic one. You don't need to buy that fancy one with a brand name. When it comes to your needs, basic needs like your food and your cleaning materials, also generic is as good as the brands, but the price difference is quite high. So you will be saving more on those areas if you are buying the generic brands. Most of the time there isn't a difference between the brand name and the generic brand. And also when you are in a grocery store, look at the items that are at the bottom of the shelf. Most of the time they put the expensive things at eye level. So if you look down, you might find items that are actually much cheaper and that are also the same as the one that is put at eye level in the store. So also look at that. It will help you save money. Tip number 7 is to use the 50-30-20 rules. And this rule talks about you putting 50% of your income on your needs. And that is where your housing and transportation and utilities and groceries goes. And putting 30% towards your wants and 20% towards your savings and investments. So you are basically allocating your income in those 3 categories. So 50% to needs, 30% to wants, and wants includes your vacations and your outings and all of that, and then 20% going to your savings and investments. And once you have an emergency fund in place and it's fully funded, then you can put more money towards your investments and only allocate a small percentage to purchases of bigger items and other types of savings that are specific. Tip number 8 is to limit impulse purchases. If you go in a shop and you see something that you like, give yourself time, maybe 24 hours or more, or 48 hours, to decide whether you really want or you really need that thing. And most of the time you change your mind, and if you change your mind, good for your pocket. But if after that time you've given yourself you still want that thing, then it's fine, you can go ahead and you buy that. But you can also practice a no buy week or a no buy month or a no buy day, whereby you go for that period of time without actually buying anything except for necessities. So to start off, start with a no buy day, then you can do a no buy week, and from there you can try a no buy month. You will be surprised how much money you actually get to save, because you are more conscious in terms of your spending, and you are saying, I'm only putting money towards what is really necessary. Everything else I am not spending money on. Tip number 9, save money from windfalls and from extra income. If money comes your way that you did not plan for it to come, put it towards your savings and investments. If you get extra income, put it towards your savings and investments. If you have a side hustle, for example, once you have taken out your operation cost for the side hustle, put the profits in your savings and investments. Once you build that habit, it really helps you to grow your savings and your investments, and your future self will be happy with the decisions and the habits that you have created. Tip number 10, set up a no spend challenge. I touched on a little bit on the no spend challenge earlier. It's a way of conditioning yourself to be able to go for certain periods of time without spending money, especially when it's not on necessities. So regardless of what period you are able to do, there are even people who do a no spend year, which is quite a long period, but see what is comfortable for you and practice that, so that you see how much you really be able to save and invest, because you have cut down on the things which are not necessities. Tip number 11, use public transportation or carpooling. If you are in an area where you have efficient public transportation, consider using that instead of driving. But at the same time, it's always best to run your numbers. Look at what you spend when you drive your vehicle yourself and compared to you using public transportation. If it works out cheaper, then try that. But if it doesn't work out cheaper for you, then you can stick to your own vehicle. And you can also look at carpooling. If you are colleagues, for example, that are living in the same area or in the same direction of your workplace, you could actually agree to say, okay, the 3 or the 4 of us, we pull in one of us car, and we cover the cost for fuel and for small maintenances. In the end, if you were supposed to spend, let me say, 2,000 Namibian dollars on fuel for the month, maybe you only then spend 500, because now it's 4 of you that are sharing the 2,000, so each person only contributes a 500, which you have saved 1,500 that you can actually put towards your savings and your investments. Tip number 12, cook at home. Here we are looking at number 1, you need to meal plan. What am I eating, for example, for the next 3 days or for the week? What am I eating? And if possible, and depending on your dietary needs, you can also batch cook. I personally only batch cook 2 meals, guys. I prepare a meal in the evening, and that should be able to save me, or I prepare food in the evening, and that should be able to save me for my supper and also for my lunch. Because lunch I'm at work, then I carry my lunch with me. So that is the only batch cooking that I can do. I cannot do the 3 days or the 5 days batch cooking. I think that is more practical for big families or a lot of people, where you have a lot of people that you have to prepare meals for. Part of cooking at home is also making sure that where possible, you prepare your meals in bulk, and that might be able to save you money. Tip number 13 is to carry lunch to work. I am one of those people who carry their lunch to work almost every single day. And you see people that are making funny comments and looking at you funny because you carry a lunchbox. Listen, there is no shame in carrying a lunchbox. Number 1, you are saving money from buying food at work, and that money you put it towards your savings and investments, so your future self will smile all the way to the bank. But number 2 is that you are carrying a healthy meal. You picked out the ingredients that you are making, and you prepare that food with love and with care, so it's healthier for your body. So you are basically fueling your body with healthy, nutritious food. So what is wrong with carrying a lunchbox? Nothing. And when you really look at people who are buying lunch at work, for example, on average, a person who buys lunch from these food vendors outside their building, maybe they are spending $60 a day. And if you multiply that by the number of days in the month, you are getting a 1.8 that they have spent on lunch at work. But you have done grocery shopping at home and you left the food at home, So unless you are a high income earner, then you can do those kind of things. But many people are not high income earners, but they are doing this. They are literally throwing away money when they could have just carried their lunch from home. And when you look at people who are buying lunch from maybe restaurants or formalized businesses, they are spending up to 130 a day, and that is over 3,000. That is like almost 4,000, 3.9 a month that a person is spending on lunch. And like I said, if you are a high income earner and you can afford it based also on your other expenses and things, well and good, do that. But if you are not a high income earner, you don't want to be throwing away a 3.9. That is money that can buy a lot of shares for you. Tip number 14 is to focus on your health. Focusing on our health helps us save money in the long run. If you live in a healthy body, whereby you are looking after your body in terms of your nutrition, in terms of your exercise, in terms of your hydration, and any other things that are needed for you to maintain a healthy body, it helps you to stay away from being sick. And it also keeps you away from developing illnesses that could cost you a lot of money in the long run. So it's important to prioritize health, and that is where preparing meals at home and actually carrying your lunch to work also comes in. If you are doing that, you know exactly what you are putting in your body, and you know it's things that are good for your body to be healthy and be full of life. Tip number 15, which is our last one, is to consider buying in bulk, especially for things that you use daily in your home, like your cleaning materials, your toilet paper, some of the foods that are like daily foods. Buy in bulk where possible, especially if you are a family of more than one person. If you live with other people, it's always going to work out cheaper to buy in bulk. However, for me personally, I only buy in bulk after I have done my math, after I have run my numbers to check the price of the bulk item compared to the price of the individual items, whether I'm really saving or I'm not. So when I do that and I realize the bulk item is more expensive, then I just buy a few individual items. So first check that it's really a saving. Otherwise, if it's not a saving, there's really no need to do that. And talking about bulk buying, if you find the items on sale that you use frequently, like I was saying earlier, like your toilet paper, your cleaning detergents, your washing powders and all those things, buy as many as you can so that you save and you are able to use them for a while. So if you find, for example, your dishwashing liquid on sale, you can buy 4 of them and they might be able to last you for 4 or whatever months depending on your use. So then you really have gotten a bargain out of it. So with that said, saving money is about being mindful of your spending habits and making intentional choices. We have to be intentional when it comes to our money. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? How does it benefit me? A lot of financial decisions do not always serve you, especially in the long run. So whatever habits you are instilling in yourself, whatever actions you are taking, it should be for the greater good of your financial life and of yourself. So with time, make these habits and take these tips and implement them and really see how your life changes and how your finances improve. So we have come to the end of this video on the money saving tips. I do hope you found some value and some tips that you are going to implement in your own life, and I'll see you in the next one.